I'm Daniel Coop, the Director of Business Development here at the Waldorf Hotel. I'd like to start by talking a little bit about the history. I think when you mention the name Waldorf, people associate that with an iconic hotel, with architectural grandeur, with a five-star service, attention to detail. We've been looking after people in terms of hospitality for the last 100 years. In fact, we just went through our centenary year. We have had very famous people here throughout its history, including people like Noel Coward, Oscar Wilde, and certainly our location close to Covent Garden and Theatreland. We've had lots of West End stars who come in on a regular basis. But we pride ourselves really on giving an individual element, particularly to weddings. We have all denominations of weddings, all sizes, from the traditional to the civil. One of the things that we also look at is we understand that a wedding day, as well as being very memorable, can also be a very stressful day, and we look to certainly take some of that off the participants, and particularly the bride and groom. No two weddings are the same, and we also recognise that. So we look to give a tailor-made individual aspect, and our staff are very well trained and pride themselves on being able to deliver that service.
I'm Susan Napoleon, Sales Manager at the Waldorf Hilton, specialising in events. My job entails liaising with caterers, wedding planners, and also with the bride and groom. Initially showing them the venue while they're deciding which venue they'd like to choose, and then passing them on to a wedding specialist who will then take them through the finer details of their special day.
Well, we have a dedicated team that specialises particularly in weddings, and the bride or the groom or the person who's organising the wedding will have a dedicated person, a sort of a one-stop shop when they make contact with the hotel.
Our wedding specialists are based in-house. We have 4 of them, so during the wedding high season, as we are now, there is many of them dedicated to each bride and groom. They will go through anything through putting you in touch with a Toastmaster, to specialising in menus, to picking flowers and theming your special day.
Generally for weddings, the room that we're sat in at the moment is the most popular, the most grandiose, with natural daylight and restored graded room. But we can also cater for smaller weddings and venues such as our executive room.
Waldorf can take up to about 180 people in this particular room that we're sitting in. That's for a seated dinner. We also can take up to about 1,000 people for a reception. So depending on what your needs are on the day, we can certainly adjoin the 2 rooms that we have and max out the capacity if your numbers do indeed change. Welcome to the beautiful Palm Court. This is the centre magical piece of the Waldorf Hilton Hotel. This is where you can have your beautiful day with the natural daylight, which actually goes down during the evening to present quite a magical feel and warmth within this room. As you can see, you can have up to 180 people seated here in this particular room and theme anything from as the crisp white linens to as colourful as you'd like. This particular room has lots of intricate detail. As you can see, the clock fixture and all of the details of the balcony is where the designers for the Titanic actually came here for inspiration. All of this can be part of your magical themed day. We have 299 bedrooms and they specialise in anything from contemporary style to the classic design, and we also have some suites which are included for the bride and groom complimentary in our wedding packages. Welcome to the Design Suite. The Design Suite has got a nice balance of contemporary feel along with nice bright splashes of colour. As you walk through the room, you will see this is Aldwych facing with beautiful views and lots of natural daylight. Our typical wedding packages would be based on a per person, and that would include a 3-course dinner, coffee and petit fours, tea lights, flower arrangements. We can offer bespoke packages, so this would be based on your entertainment, so varying from a DJ to a band on the evening.
We understand the need to tailor each individual wedding accordingly. We have dedicated staff that look after everything from the guest list to the menu to the flower arranging. We also get key staff such as the chef, the general manager, myself will be involved, as well as the normal day-to-day running staff that get involved on the day. The organisers will be here on the day as well to ensure that everything goes smoothly and that any potential problems are spotted in good time and resolved.
I I think one of the most important things on a wedding is probably to make sure your guests are satisfied with the food, and I think with the service that we're able to offer with the wide variety of options for cuisine, whether it's Mediterranean, British or Asian, kosher catering, we can actually accommodate all of those needs. The service that we deliver is in close proximity with the kitchen, so the timing of the food and the timing of the actual evening will be determined by the speed of service, but also with it being very discreet so that your guests are not disturbed.
On the day, we can provide, in terms of our dedicated waiting staff, depending on what the actual need is, we can arrange from that. We have a fully trained silver service staff, very experienced. The team is very dedicated and very well trained and loyal to the hotel, so they know exactly what our guests expect. We can provide musicians, we can provide sommeliers as standard, and indeed anything that the guests want, we can pretty much do it.
One of the biggest advantages of the location of the Waldorf is that we actually are only a couple of minutes walk from Covent Garden, which is a great location for those wanting to go out and take pictures with their family and friends. We're also just across the way from Waterloo Bridge, so some great scenic views of London, which would look fantastic as a backdrop for many family photos. Again, for those maybe wanting to stay over for a few more days prior or after the wedding, it's a fantastic location right in the middle of Theatreland and in the shopping district of Covent Garden.
The reason the bride and groom would specifically choose the Waldorf, I guess, is because of its status, because of its legacy almost. They would expect the service to be delivered in conjunction with that legacy to be of a very high standard. That's certainly something that we look to deliver, and we have a lot of feedback from a lot of our clients, personalised messages to all of our staff that have actually thanked us for making such an effort and making their day a wonderful experience and something that they can look back hopefully with a lot of joy, enjoyment and pleasure really.